Indonesia's most populous and biggest economic driving island, known as Java, is today the nation's most profound engine for growth. It has withstood to become the nation's source of economy, contributing approximately 60% of the total gross domestic product of Indonesia, which by 2022, around 1.2 trillion US dollars. Further, the island of Java is so big that it is recorded as the world's most populous island, estimated to be close to 150 million people, which is also 55% of the total population of the entire country. Yet as populated as it is, and as huge of an economy the island holds, it only bears as the 13th largest island in the world, and only the 3rd largest in the country, disregarding the borders it shares with other nations that are. Furthermore, we can't also include the fact that the massive infrastructure initiative brought on by the government, known as the National Strategic Project PSN, is slated to hold the single largest value around the nation. The entire PSN, which consists of 208 projects and is worth close to $400 billion, will have a huge chunk of it, by around $137 billion, just headed towards Java. This then indicates how precious and vital the future of this island is going to be. This has likewise influenced other factors driving growth, such as foreign direct investments, which is all too seen across the nation of Indonesia. Data from the Bank of Indonesia shows that Java received over 432 trillion Indonesian rupiahs, or 28 billion US dollars, far ahead of other major islands, even more than Sumatra at just around 185 trillion rupiahs, or $12.3 billion. This has been a further realization every year for foreign investments, as Java sits on top, averaging around 50% of the total investment proposition coming to the nation. Because of these, the need for proper administration has been confounded, and Java as it is has been divided into 4 provinces and 2 special regions. Notably known as Banten, the westernmost province, which has the capital Serang and has a total population of around 12 million, with an economy of approximately $50 billion of nominal GDP, shares a border with a special economic region known as Jakarta, which it does with West Java. But as Jakarta is true of itself as an entirely economic powerhouse that has over 10.5 million people, yet an economy that exceeds $200 billion, it has emerged to have a special treaty of its kind. Following West Java, the region which sits beside Banten, Central Java, and Jakarta plays a crucial role, as it has an economy valued at over $150 billion and a population of over 35 million. Then thirdly, Central Java, with $96 billion of nominal GDP and a population of 36.7 million people, also shares a border with another special economic region, known as Yogyakarta, the smallest region that sits on top of the entire Java island, with only 3.7 million. Lastly, East Java is estimated to have 40 million people and an economy of about $150 billion. These 4 provinces and 2 special regions make up the entire approximately $650 billion economy that Java sits on. An astounding and proficient island that it was so necessary to truly have a divided and properly administrative region. Yet as great as these have all sound, the island of Java, where 150 million dwell, has been a burden, both to the government and to the environment that these people live in. There are approximately 1,196 people in each square kilometer, making it a very populated and traffic-driven place. But data like these do not even account for urban and rural living, which is another entirely separate issue. Jakarta alone has a further 15,900 people living in just 1 square kilometer. This is why, from time to time again, the already huge Java island is so big that the government wants to diversify the entire economy. They want to move people out of the island, with it moving the economy and foreign investments as well. This is why we have seen the rise of Indonesia's new capital being announced, a far bigger and presumably going to be more stable in the coming future, as Kalimantan, which shares the island of Borneo with Malaysia and Brunei, is in fact entirely a huge island, estimated to be about 748,000 square kilometers, far more than Java, which is only 138,000 square kilometers. This might be why Kalimantan and the island of Borneo are the perfect matches to have that kind of unique and future characteristics, of holding the next economic driver within Indonesia's economy. Furthermore, Java's geography, while indeed a grand miracle thus far for the entire geo-economy of the nation, also holds several key issues. First of all, Java is renowned for being almost entirely volcanic in origin, as it contains at least 45 active volcanoes so far, which is as locally known as that throughout centuries. Java has experienced a terrifying explosion of volcanoes, some of which were so strong that they had affected the entire island of Java. Unlike again the island of Borneo is a miracle in itself, to have been saved from the massive number of volcanoes that other islands of Indonesia have. However, let us not disregard the fact that because of these numerous volcanic destinations, it has brought in a huge amount of energy sources, known as geothermal power, which is profound as it is both renewable and abundant in Indonesia's geography. Estimated to have over 28,000 megawatts of potential, which so far has used close to 2,000 megawatts, making geothermal power a source of economic growth that some nations with less than abundant geothermal power do not have. Why this has happened so uniquely to Indonesia, however, is unbeknownst called for, as often as some may have blamed it. It was due to the government's policy which helped support the entire region over the past several decades. After all, looking back 50 or 100 years back then, it was astute to have a special island to hold a huge majority of the economy, as transportation throughout the entire nation is difficult, considering that Indonesia is of itself a major archipelago nation. While it may still be seen as an issue by some, it still has even until today a huge beneficiary to the word connection, as individuals that live upon each other can easily be together. A quick and easy note to understand, however, is that Java's population way back 60 years or so, around the 1960s, was around 63 million people. But moving forward, we undoubtedly need to diversify. Java Island is now on the verge of a collapse, related to its overpopulation that plagues issues such as connectivity issues related to congestion, environmental issues which are often talked about today as what makes Jakarta sinking, and so much more. Even if Indonesia was able to successfully diversify both its economy and population, it will no longer have issues with having to rely on one island to drive economic growth. This is because Indonesia is now among the world's fastest growing economies, and on top of that has the capability to fully maximize each island's potential and have a better connectivity-driven economy. Take for example J&T Express, the nation's most profound and most valuable unicorn startup at $20 billion. With such success it had brought in so far, it has been a truly living company that has embodied the fact that regardless of how far one island is from another, they are capable of delivering the goods needed to any specific destination. Moving forward, as J&T Express is doing, is what we think Indonesia is going to do in the future. In conclusion, Indonesia's island of Java is indeed enormous, but it has brought in an inconsiderable number of economic growth to the entire country. Further, its potential is likewise still unaccounted for, as the entire Java region is experiencing around 3% or more of nominal GDP growth every year. But with the issues plaguing the island thus far, the need for a more diversified economy is necessary. With the future in sight, we are likely going to see this happening down the line, 10, 20, or even 50 or more years ahead. Indonesia's success as an entire country is what we think will rely on its execution to enable a better, less risky nation to handle. But well, that is still subjectable. Anyway, what do you think?